the perfect tumbler every time. Oh, shit. Almost dropped it.
Still says police who responded to criminal charges, including attempted communication.
Your shirt's on backwards. There is no word.
Just so we can have your stuff on.
Yes.
Go.
No, you gotta go. All right, buddy. Good. Bye, guys. Computer, turn office on.
It is just a shit day outside already. So today is November 1st. It is the aftermath of Halloween. Check out how cute my kids' costumes are. Okay, but today is not about Halloween. It's not about how crappy the weather is. It's how to laser engrave the perfect tumbler every time. So you guys, this is probably one of the biggest, I don't want to say questions because it's a lot of questions, but the topic is tumblers, and usually it's issues on how to get your tumbler to look right. And it may shock you when I say that 90% of the issues that people are having is user error. It's just a matter of knowing your machine, knowing your software, knowing your image. One of the first things to take into consideration when you're working on a tumbler is your image. This is kind of across the board with just like laser engraving in general, but you need a high quality image to begin with. If you don't have a high quality image, your end result is not gonna be as good as it could be. Okay, computer time. Bow, no. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. I just want to show you guys this real quick. This is going to be images, which we're not like photos, which we're not really going to mess with today, but I just want to give you an idea. So if we come in here, these two images look pretty similar, right? But what I did is I saved one off in a lower res quality. So this would be something that like maybe you pulled off of Facebook. They compress their images, make them smaller. And so when I zoom in on this guy, look at it. Look at that cute little kid. See how we've got like kind of a clean edge that runs around here. So that's a good image. If I come in and I do the same with this guy, as he gets bigger, see how he starts to pixelate? That's because it's a low res image. And the more we get in there, see, and the computer sees this. The computer starts to see these weird pixelations and tries to follow that, and that's why you get bad images. Now let's grab a logo. This is what we'd be working with more. So we got a little bat symbol here. We're gonna grab this guy. We're gonna hop into Illustrator. I'm just gonna paste this here, and it's enormous, and everything looks fine there, right? But as I start to push in, look at that edge. As I push in again, see how this is starting to get really kind of bumpy? Let's go one more so you can really see it. Okay, so see this garbage edge now? That's what your laser sees. So your laser doesn't see a smooth line here. Your laser sees this like jaggedy edge line, and that's the reason you get those weird kind of like not crisp edges. Now this is in Adobe Illustrator. You have these functions in different graphics programs. They might be called something different, but watch when I hit image trace on this. So I'm just gonna do the default image trace. See how that line went away, and see how we've got this nice smooth line. This is the reason you're going to want to edit your images before you take them into your laser engraving software. So next you want to take a look at your tumbler. Before we're going to actually do the image, we got to figure out how the image is going to fit on the tumbler. I have a bunch of tumblers right here from a company called Craft Express. They have a store on Amazon, and they are the sponsor of this video. So we're going to take a look at some of the different ones that they sent me out. So far, the products that they sent me are pretty high quality. Outer coating is a little thicker, which I always like because it tends to hold up better in the dishwasher. We've got these wine tumblers in Build Dad, Build Red. We've got these bigger tumblers, also in Build Dad, Build Red. See what else we got? Oh, these are cool. So these are leather. We're probably not gonna do these today, but laser engravable leather. And so it can be like your little sippy cup. You can actually use this for a can or even a bottle. There's also these cool leather ones, which we'll probably do in a later video. All right, but for this video, we're gonna be using one of these guys. So the next thing you wanna take into consideration is how big you want your logo or design to be on the tumbler. About 3.5 inches is usually good for being able to visually see it without like it wrapping around the edges and not being able to see the entire thing. And obviously you're gonna wanna take your height into mind as well. So for this one, it looks like we have probably about 3.5. And now we go back.
Marty, you've got to come back with me.
Back to the computer. We're joined by the floof. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open a new file, and I already have it here, but I went ahead and did a width of 3.5 like we discussed and a height of 2.5 like we discussed. Create. This is the logo that I landed on. I'm going to hit image trace. It is going to clean that up for me, and then I'm going to expand it. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click out, and then I'm going to click the white. I'm going to select all the same fill color, delete, and then I'm also going to take this outermost box off. 2.5 tall. Okay, and that is pretty much all we need to do. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna export this. Okay, now the next thing we wanna do is make sure that we get our logo, our image on our tumbler straight. First, you're gonna need your tumbler. Get rid of this. And you must have the great pencil. This is like a China marker. I'll link these down below. And I use this obnoxiously large framing square. You probably don't need to use something like this, but I have it. I will link this down below as well. I can just set this flat on a surface. I know it's square, and then I'm just gonna draw my line. Put this on top, line it up, and then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now we have our center line, and then we have another center line on the back. Today we're gonna be running these on the APLazer. This is the SN4024. You do not need a laser this large to do this with, but what you will find is that having something higher powered like a CO2 will definitely make your tumblers run faster. I'm gonna say about 8 minutes a side. So, run that versus whatever you're doing with your diode. This is just gonna be faster. You do not need something this ginormous. Actually, I wouldn't recommend this size laser if you're just gonna run tumblers, but you definitely wanna look at a CO2. You're just gonna get faster results. I will link to APLazer's brochure down below if you wanna check out their products. These are probably some of the best lasers made in the US. I would argue the world. Now we're just gonna lower the Z-axis. Bye. Bye-bye. Here you go. Good for playing. We'll see you soon. Sure, leave us 5 stars. Forget to like and subscribe video. Join our Patreon. Join the Discord page. Next floor, ladies lingerie. So I'm not going to go over for specifics on the rotary tool or the laser settings. These are all going to have to do with your particular laser. The things I'm going to show you are the things you want to do with any laser in order to do a perfect tumbler every time. So basically this is going to be where you do whatever you need to do to get your rotary up and running. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to make sure that our rotary is straight on the bed. The easiest way to do that is I've got my dot lined up on this line, which is part of the reason we want this line there. I'm just going to move it on the x-axis, and as you can see, as I get down here, I'm not on my line anymore. So what that tells me is I need to move the back of this up like this, and then come back, double check it, and that looks like we're center now. So you can tell I've been doing pint glasses in here, and this is not level. So I have this little level right here that I use first to get close. All right, and I'm gonna go right about there. So I'm just prepping my image. So you would do what you do in your engraving program to prep your image. Next, I'm just gonna position my laser. I'm gonna pull up the file, and I'm gonna run a frame. Okay, so when I ran the frame, it seemed like it was gonna be a little small in there, just eyeballing it. So I made it 3 inches. We're still gonna be about a 1/4 inch off the top. I think we're gonna have the offset with the bottom part of this where it slopes down. That's the little start button right here. Watch it get after it. All right, especially in some of these thicker coated ones, you're gonna see this dark. We're gonna take care of that now. That's really fuzzy, man. Rookie mistakes! I'm sitting here and I'm like, this isn't working right. I don't understand why it's not working right. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to focus the freaking laser beam. So, another tip, when you're doing tumblers, remember to focus your laser beam. You're definitely not figuring your laser out if you don't have a tumbler that looks like this. Well, it's not a finished product by any means. See how I've got nice crisp lines here? I couldn't figure out why this was so fuzzy. Okay, we are focused. We have our settings down and we're giving it the beans right now. I think I said something like it was gonna take like 8 minutes. It's taken under a minute. It's taken about 48 seconds. That's approximately how long it takes to do one side of a tumbler on a 100-watt CO2 laser. And once that's done, we're just gonna rotate the tumbler at 180 degrees and hit start again. And while we're waiting for this thing to finish, I just wanna say thank you guys for sticking around to this time in the video, especially my patrons. Check out my Patreon page if you haven't. Join up if that's your thing. I'll link that down below. And I'd like to give an extra special thanks to my Boilermaker or top tier patrons. Stephen Mann, Eric Weiss, Derek Coates, Chuck Faulkner, Andy the Viking, Todd Stewart, Paul Christensen, Jason Ayers, Reed Means, Cody, the Adirondack guy, Tina, Derek Steele, and Voltage. Voltage! Thanks guys, you are the bomb. All right, hot off the press and it looks like hot garbage. That's okay, it's supposed to. Just gonna hit it with just regular old water. This is just a shop towel. And we're just gonna clean it up a little bit because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this in the other room and we're gonna use a, next up, magic sponge, a little water. Don't get the Mr. Clean magic sponges, get melamine sponges. I'll link these down below. I buy like 50 of them for 15 bucks. Okay, most people think that this is good enough. I say no. This stuff called Blue by ENDURAMARK is a powder coat cleaner and it's just gonna give it that little extra shine. A little magic dust, a little magic sauce. After, look at that shine, dude. Okay, so before, see how it's just kind of a little dingy? After, look at that shine, dude. It's just that little extra. That little extra, the extra sauce. All right guys, and there you have it. Perfect tumblers every time. And don't forget the Blue powder coat residue remover. Now, if you want to see me laser more stuff, watch this video right here.